Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and I want to talk about what Final Fantasy VII means to me. Because with the remake coming out, we got new fans coming in, and we also got old fans absolutely loving it. And then there's some that hate it, but whatever. We'll pretend they don't exist. And I'm kind of like in between. And plus, you know, this story could hopefully last more than 10 minutes. So let's get those precious ads! But I want to start off the story by being completely honest with you guys, and that's... I never played Final Fantasy VII when I was a kid. In fact, I had absolutely no idea what Final Fantasy even was. To give you a little bit of context, I was born in '93, so when 7 came out, I was probably 3 years old. But I do have a lot of fond memories of playing the PS1 and Super Nintendo when I was younger. When I had my PS1, which I still have by the way, I was playing platformers. I played Spyro, I played Crash Bandicoot the most, and I played Tony Hawk. I know Tony Hawk's not a platformer, but if you had a PS1 or a PS2, you played it. Whether it was yours, your brothers, your cousins, your uncles, or your friend that comes over all the time that your mom absolutely gets annoyed by, but they feel like their family anyway, and you're just sick of it. Yeah, you played Tony Hawk. Don't deny it. But something that I did have, though, was a bunch of demo discs. I think I may have played a demo to Final Fantasy VIII. I remember I played some demo where the world was so fun to explore. But I can't remember which demo it is. I'm hoping it's Final Fantasy VIII. I want to find this demo disc and play it again. But I looked through all the ones I have, and there's a few that are missing in my collection. But I don't know where they all went. But again, I don't know if it's Final Fantasy VIII or not. I'm guessing. The only real context to me having anything related to Final Fantasy VII was Kingdom Hearts, because I played that too. But when I played it, I just thought they were characters in Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, wow! You're a character. Wow, that's Cloud. He looks cool. And that guy has a gun / sword. Wow, I like that a lot. And this is how it was for many years. I didn't know about Final Fantasy VII. The way I discovered Final Fantasy VII was here when my childhood best friends, like when I was little, finally moved in next door when I was going into high school. It was like a dream come true. And then we discovered emulators and ROMs, and a whole new world was open to us. So then they started showing off some classics like Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy VII. Now, obviously we played more games, but I want to compare these two very closely, not only now, but also towards the end of the story. Now, Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy VII are highly regarded as some of the greatest games of all time. Unfortunately, they age visually very bad. But luckily, Ocarina of Time 3D came out, so while I was watching him playing it on an emulator, I picked it up for the 3DS and played alongside him sometimes, and I was trying to understand the game, and when I tried to play it by myself, I wasn't very good, so I had him help me most of the way. And plus, it was fun for him to see how much it can enhance visually, but it still feels like the same exact game, and it's really awesome. And although I couldn't beat it and I couldn't 100% get into it, I still highly respect Ocarina of Time for what it did and what it means to people. Hell, I have a bunch of Zelda merch. I have the Zelda Ocarina of Time soundtrack. I highly respect it. I just can't beat it. And don't even get me started on Majora's Mask. So, same thing with Final Fantasy VII. He didn't emulate that. He actually bought that on the PS3 through the PS1 Classics thing. And I was watching him play it, and it caught my interest. I'm not really a fan of RPGs, but we all played Pokemon, so we're all familiar with the turn-based RPGs. So the way I saw how that one was different, how sure it was still turn-based, but you still had the timing mechanics, that had me interested. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to play this myself. So I ended up buying the Steam version on my PC. I think I got up to the tower where they're about to drop the giant plate, and Reno traps you in pyramids. After that, I just gave up because I had no idea you were supposed to attack the pyramids. So when he traps you both in the pyramid, you're just screwed. Game over. And that's when I gave up. No lie, now that I know you gotta fight the pyramids as well, I kind of want to redo my playthrough sometime. I mean, I have 3 ways to play it now. I got it on Steam, I have the actual PS1 disc now, but I'll get into that later, and the PS1 Classic over here. So anyway, same thing. I played Final Fantasy VII, couldn't get into it, but I still held it on a high tier. I kept it on a high respect tier list thing. I don't know. Point is, I respected it. And then they also show me a DVD that belonged to their cousin of Advent Children. I say DVD because it is the DVD. We didn't get to see the complete version at this point yet. So I'm watching it, I put it in, I'm super excited, and the first reaction is, why is it in Japanese? Turns out I had to switch it to the English dub, and that was a mistake because the English dub is not very good. Not that the actors did a bad job, it was just not well directed. It's very rough in the beginning, but eventually it gets tolerable. I'm normally a dub fan, I promise. I absolutely hate watching anime in sub. But at the time, it was really pretty, and the fight scenes just made the movie. And I even watched it again recently, the complete edition on Blu-ray, and same thing. And honestly, same thing, same opinion. But this time, they added an extra 25 minutes, so it felt longer. But apparently, some of that 25 minutes was part of the Sephiroth fight, so that's accepted. So, going into this movie, when I first watched it on DVD, I had absolutely no idea what the story was. So, I came out of it confused as hell. I'm like, who's Genova? I knew about most of the characters because I saw them all in Kingdom Hearts. Then later I go back to Kingdom Hearts and I see Sid, and I'm like, oh, he's from Final Fantasy VII? I thought he was just a shopkeep! But after rewatching it recently, I know the story. So, at least for the most part, I know the story. So now I can go out of it not being confused. Then after that, it was just respecting Final Fantasy VII, not enjoying it because I suck at it, and plus, visually, it doesn't hold up. And then that was it for a couple of years. Eventually, we get 2014, and then they get a big announcement of, oh, Final Fantasy VII's coming back on PS4 as a PS1 release, just remastered. And we're all like, oh. And we're all very disappointed. It's whatever. And then a year later, then we see E3. We see a giant thing in the background. You see a live stream. Everyone's thinking, oh my god, is that the live stream from Final Fantasy VII? I'm sitting over here thinking, wow, that's like the PS3's main menu. And then the trailer starts playing. There's a nice narration. And I'm like, wow, this looks really cool. I don't know what this is. And then when you see the slide, I'm like, now wait a minute, that slide looks familiar. And then you get closer and more into Midgar. I'm still slightly confused. I have a hint. I'm like, is this what I think it is? And then when you see them saying how there's a reunion and they're coming back, then you see Barrett and Cloud walking, I'm like, oh. Oh! And then you see the Final Fantasy VII logo, and then you see remake just go across the screen. I'm like, oh, I was flipping shit. Because not only was I excited for my neighbors and, you know, like the whole community or whatever, but I'm also thinking, this is how I'm going to play this game. This is what I want. This is how I want to play this. And I knew this game was going to be a huge deal. I also knew it was not coming anytime soon. But then, you know, news comes out for it, thinking, oh, it's going to be outsourced to CyberConnect 2, the people who made the Naruto Storm games, and it's going to be episodic. I didn't know how to feel about that, because when I first heard about the episodic, I'm thinking, like, Walking Dead. But then they're like, rest assured, we're going to only focus on Midgar in the first one, but it's going to feel just like the original game, lengthwise. I'm like, if you say so. But the fact that I was going to CyberConnect 2 kind of upset me, because this game is a huge deal, and everybody not only has a lot of hype for it, but also has high expectations for it. So the fact that they're outsourcing it to CyberConnect 2, which don't get me wrong, I love Naruto Storm games. They're my favorite Naruto games in general, and it's what got me into Naruto. But the fact that they're putting it off to some other company that doesn't really work on AAA games from what I know. Sure, Bandai worked on Smash, and that turned out really well. But I think as high regarded as Final Fantasy VII is, I thought that was a bad move. Thankfully, they check up on them, and they're like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, yeah, we're still in Mako Reactor 1. And then they're all like, you know what? If you want it done right, you gotta do it your damn self. And thankfully they did, because it turned out so much better. Not only visually, but oh my god. Like, it gave in so much fanfare. Like, ooh. So we wait and we see more trailers and we get even more hyped. And I even remember when E3 was happening, I think it was 2019 for that E3. I'm working at Best Buy. We're doing a closing shift, me and this guy David, and we're supposed to like pull registers, supposed to like do a bunch of other stuff. And he has it up on his phone, and normally he is the more responsible one. I am far from responsible at work sometimes. I like to be silly. So I'm getting this stuff done. He's watching it. We're seeing gameplay, so I look on his phone every once in a while. We just take a small break and watch, and we get so excited. We are flipping shit. And then they announce, oh, here's the release date. We're like, holy shit, it's actually coming out soon. Actually, it's not very soon. At that time, it was June, and we just had to wait until all the way till frickin' February. It's gonna be fucking forever. But it has a set release date. I thought it was gonna be delayed probably, but like I knew it's coming, and it's coming like it has a date. Oh my god! And then they talk about all the different versions: standard, deluxe, where it comes with a steelbook, soundtrack, art book, and I didn't get that one, and I should have, because I want to wait until I play the game, love it, and then give them more money by like getting the extra stuff, because I don't want it to be like Fallout 76, have a bunch of high expectations for it, get it, be a disappointing release, and then you have all the stuff from the collector's edition to remind you how much money you wasted on such project. It's like the same concept of not pre-ordering. That's how I feel about it. So yeah, now I want to get the soundtrack and the art book, but I don't plan on getting a steelbook because I don't care about steelbooks. But then they also show off the First Class Hardy Daytona Play Arts Kai edition. Now, my friend David also collects statues, and I knew he was going to be excited for this. But I'm looking at it, and I see it's a Play Arts Kai. As soon as I see that cloud figure, I'm like, oh no, that's not going to be cheap. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm getting that. I'm like, are you sure it's not going to be cheap? He's like, oh, it's going to be like $200. Maybe he guessed more like up to $250. I can't remember what he guessed, but I'm pretty sure it was in like the $200 range, and I knew he was lowballing it. I said, you don't understand. The figure alone is about $160 or so. Then we got the deluxe edition. That's $80 right there. That bike is big. It's not gonna be that cheap. No! I forget what it ended up selling for, but he was also hoping that we'd get it at Best Buy to pre-order so we could get the discounts and all that jazz, but no. No, it didn't come to Best Buy. I'm thinking, oh no. This game is expensive. But I was still excited for it. I pre-ordered it. I was so excited. So many, many months later, the game finally comes out, and what do I think of it? This game is... I've been streaming it. Like, my full playthrough. There is not a minute that I play by myself. Every time I play it, I stream it. And the game is gorgeous. For the most part. Like, the thing that I love about it is, like, they're using Unreal Engine 4, so you can pull off amazing visuals in that engine. But, sure, the faces look amazing. Like, you see skin texture and everything. The hair is something that actually blew my mind. Hair is a little bit tough to get perfect. I'm picky about that kind of thing. But they got it well. They got it very well. And the lighting, don't even get me started on the lighting. Oh my god. This game is gorgeous. But there are plenty of parts where it is low textures, and that bothers me. Because it's a 100 gig game, and there's not even a patch to fix this stuff yet. And how far are we into this game? It's probably been a month, right? Since the game's come out? I can't even remember. But as I'm playing it, I'm realizing I don't have a cloud figure based off the remake. I need to get one now. Unfortunately, so did everybody else. The prices just went up like crazy. Like, I'm seeing listings go for like $250. I'm like, nope! Thankfully, not only did I get that figure, I also got another one. Give me one moment, please! Not only did I get Final Fantasy VII Cloud. Hold on, let me fix this. There we go, it looks a lot better. Now, not only did I get the Cloud from the 7 remake, I also got Cloud from Advent Children because he looks freaking sexy. But since they're already down here, let's display them. Yeah, that looks nice. Oh man, that's cool. I actually got these guys for a good price. I only paid like $250 for both of them. Still expensive, but this one sells for $300 brand new. This one sells upwards to like $250. I got a good price. Now that we go into the present day, how do I feel about it? Oh look, Final Fantasy VII. Anyway, how do I feel about it now that we're into the present day? I feel like Final Fantasy VII and Ocarina of Time have the same level of respect on like what they do for the industry, and thankfully both of those games got remade. But when it comes to Zelda, even though I couldn't get into Ocarina of Time, I played Breath of the Wild because I needed something to play on my Switch when that came out, and I was genuinely interested. As someone who wasn't a Zelda fan, I fell in love with it, and I bought so much Zelda stuff after that. I got all the amiibos. I got the first 4-figure statue of the Breath of the Wild Link. I got the special edition for the game after I fell in love with the game. I even have an Ocarina of Time figure up here too. As a non-Zelda fan, Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games. Not only of this generation, but probably of all time. And I feel Final Fantasy VII Remake is the same way. As someone who's not into Final Fantasy really, Final Fantasy VII blew my mind. I gave 15 a try, sucked at it, and just put it down. But 7, I'm playing that on normal difficulty, and I'm having an amazing time. I die a couple of times, but I don't quit. I don't stop. Well, I also have the amiibos, but I was going for a complete Smash collection anyway. Like, even as someone who wasn't a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, like that was fine. I would have bought them. Oh, yeah, and by the way, when Cloud was announced for Smash, I got excited for that too, because I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna be awesome. Like, I was freaking out almost as hard as I was when the remake was being announced. However, I haven't played Crisis Core though, but I know what the story is for that, so I'm fine. I don't think I really need to play it, but if I really want to, I don't have a PSP, but I have a PS3 that's modded, and that can play Crisis Core just fine. But I think it'd be also fun to show off a few of the things in my collection that I've gotten throughout the years of liking Final Fantasy VII. Obviously, we got the remake, but I also have the soundtrack coming in the mail, and I'm debating if I should pick up the art book. If I get the money for it, then sure. I wish I can get the full soundtrack. I'm only getting the mini soundtrack that came with the deluxe edition. But the full soundtrack is like $100 to $200, so not yet. And of course, if you're a collector, you also gotta have the standard black label Final Fantasy VII on PS1. Now, I got this at the game store that I used to work at before I lost that job. I wasn't fired or anything. It's a long story. Pretty much that particular spot just closed down, and I couldn't work at the other ones because they were farther away and I was working too many hours at my other job. We also have 3 copies of Advent Children. The first DVD, I got this through a friend. I traded an extra iToy camera for this. That was worth it. That was absolutely worth it. And then I also got the complete version from the same game store, by the way. It came in, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is not even going on the floor. I'm buying this. And then I thought, you know what? We have it on PSP. I'll buy it on PSP. I don't have a PSP, but why not? But then I realized there's actually so many versions of the movie, because I got it as a trifecta, as like a little complete collection. But now, I found out there's more. I don't want this. So, I'll give this to somebody. I don't know who wants it. I don't know who wants it though, but I'll find somebody who wants it. But also, from the same game store, I also got the original Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. Now, I forget how much I paid for this. Probably like 10 or 15 bucks. At the time I got this, I was collecting video game soundtracks in general. Like, I have the Ocarina of Time 3D soundtrack down here as well, and I was waiting on it. I'm like, I might pick this up. But then I saw like 2 people that were interested, and I saw like, oh my god, it almost left. So I'm like, fine, I'll buy it. So I bought it, and I love it. I like how the game is 3 discs, but the soundtrack is like 4. But is it 4 discs? Let me see. Yep. That's 4 discs. Yeah, and then we have these figures. I also have another figure up on a shelf, I think. But it's on his bike. But he's like in the back and there's things around him and I don't feel like grabbing that. It's scary. But that's my story for Final Fantasy VII. Let me know in the comments if you played the original, if you played the remake. What does the series itself mean to you? I'm a small channel, so I'm gonna read all the comments. I went from just respecting it to absolutely falling in love with it. And I'm gonna replay the original just so I can have that turn-based stuff. But now I'm like getting to know the story more and more. Because I love how much the remake throws in extra details, how they expand on so many other characters. Like Wedge, Jesse, and Biggs, they are such great characters in the remake. Like they flesh them out so much that you actually start to care about them. God, I love this game so much. And I even remember talking to Mom about buying these figures over here. And I'm buying them. She ain't buying them for me. I'm fucking almost 30 years old. Gotta buy my own damn toys. But yeah, I'm telling her how I want to get these figures so bad. And she's telling me, like, why do you want these so bad? Like, you're not even a fan of Final Fantasy. I'm like, yeah, normally I'm not. But this game is something special. This game, like every time I see the opening of the game or I see the trailer of the initial announcement, I get chills. I get goosebumps and sometimes even tears. I don't know what it is about this game. It is so powerful. I don't know. This game is truly something special. And as someone who's not a normal Final Fantasy fan, or even a fan of the original game all that much, this is something that you should play. If you love Kingdom Hearts, you're definitely gonna love this game. Oh my god. And I can't wait for part 2. And I also hope it's made in Unreal Engine 5, because man, Unreal Engine 5, that looks spicy. But that's it for this video. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's my socials. Normally, you'd be a standard YouTuber, say, hey, like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. You know, in a generic format and fashion. Here's the thing. I'm a small channel. I don't upload very often. I stream a lot, though. If you want to ring that bell, by all means, cool. But the one thing I would love for you guys to check out, more than hitting that bell, is checking out my Instagram. Because recently I've been doing photos of these figures and just action figures in general, and I'm taking them outside, like doing nature shots, and some of them I'm very, very proud of. So if y'all could do me a favor and check out my Instagram, that would mean the world to me. Like, to me, the compliments I get on these photos mean more than donations in my live streams. That's how much, like, this means to me. So please check it out. And that's all I gotta say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys a lot, and I'll see you on the next one. So peace.